Hey there, boys and girls of the YouTube world. Today, the Mortske and no Duff are going to take a 1995 Chevrolet pickup with a little surprise for a test drive. You'll notice I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt. It's nice out. It's June. Go check out the Mortske merch, link down below. And you notice when we get to the video, it's very cold and I'm wearing a stocking cap and a jacket because we filmed it several months ago. Didn't really do an intro. There's a lot of rambling in this video, so if you don't like rambling, if you don't want to listen to me pick a car apart on a test drive, I suggest you just skip ahead or go find a different video, I guess, maybe. I mean, we want you to watch, but there's a lot of me talking in this one. And I show you the pickup too as well. But here we go. Go back to 4 months ago. Well, hey there, boys and girls of the YouTube world. Today, me, myself, and I are about 3 hours away from home. Duff Dog doesn't like the big city. I don't blame him. So here I am by myself. We're looking at a 95 Chevrolet Silverado work truck, regular cab, 4-wheel drive, long box, 5-speed, with a little surprise under the hood. We brought the old tow pig here. It's the new tow pig. I don't like firing up the diesels in the winter. A guy at work said, hey, you want to buy my Expedition for scrap price? I was like, what's scrap price? He's like, I don't know, $200-300 bucks. I'm like, I'll give you $300. This thing's great. 269,000 miles, 5.4, hasn't ejected any spark plugs yet. Knock on wood. Frame's a little rotten. It's got good tires, good heater. It's got Astro Start, and it's so rusty that I don't even care if I get it covered in salt. Story on this thing is, a buddy at work bought it at another work location. He's sick of dealing with people on the internet, as am I. He said, you should buy this thing. I got a good deal on it. Pass it on to you. It's a clutch. My dad didn't want it at the farm. He wants an automatic. Let's take a look at this thing. So I can already see she's been rattle canned, touched up. It's got new exhaust. I hate that bumper. I don't mind the work truck tailgates. I don't really like those. Oh yeah, she's got overspray everywhere. Never had a fifth wheel in it. Sliding rear window. I guess these are like brand new Goodyear Wrangler 33s. He said the front ones are up. Imagine that. Looks like it's got the baby 10-bolt differential, not the 12-bolt. Work truck things. Needs a cab corner. Again, more overspray. I noticed this in the picture, this little strip's missing, so I'm guessing they put fenders on it. It's sitting a little low on the front, so maybe we can turn the torsion bars up and get some clearance.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Looks like the valance has been trimmed. Fender's got a hooey. It's got the terrible, ugly work truck grill in it, and it's been repainted. As have the mirrors. He's got overspray on frickin' everything. Yeah, center caps are missing. Those wheels are hideous. He said he hit a deer on the way home with it. Probably why the bumper is tight over here. The grill's cracked. And a big gap over here. He said he paid a body shop $150 to straighten it out. So it must have been real bad before. Oh yeah, overspray on the AC condenser. This fender has the trim on it and some rust. New shocks. I think he said it's got new CV axles. Transmission transfer case, something's leaking. It's missing the doodad cover here. Overspray on that. Does have rubber floor mats, roll up windows, but it's got a cloth seat, no vinyl seat. Those are nice and cold on days like today. This cab corner's quite a bit better. I just don't know. Dual exhaust. I think he said glass packs. That box side's cracked out. There's supposed to be trim back here too. He said there's no dent in the box. Pretty sure there's a dent right there, pal. You can maybe get in behind it and work it out. Oh, you can just see all the overspray from the repaint job down the side. That bumper is so terrible. At least the receiver hitch is separate, I think. Yep. Oh, they even cut out the bumper for it. Nice. Yeah, whatever's leaking is all over the fuel tank and everything else. He said these tires are like new. They're worn on the inside, so they've been rotated. Definitely not like new. Oh yeah, some major cuppage going on there. And then these ones are pretty good, so these were rotated to the front. This is what happens when you buy a car from a non-car guy. We're just flat out liars. He's not a liar, he's just not a car guy. This grill is supposed to be that chalky gray color. Rust coming through there. Oh boy. Let's check out the inside, I guess. Did notice the speaker covers were missing. Seat's kind of starting to come apart. The dash is all janked up, imagine that. Does have a new CD player in it, yay. 5-speed. It is the NV 3500, kind of a lightweight. Doesn't have the 4500, which is pretty much bulletproof. Window tint is terrible. Oh, this is the hood pop he was talking about. That is nice. What do they call that? Plumber's tape? Park brake release. Oh, so good. According to this, it's got 150K on it. He did say the speedometer doesn't work and the fuel gauge doesn't work, except for when it's in the crank position or something. Who's gonna turn the starter over when you're going down the road to see how fast you're going? Headliner's better shape than the 92. These 95s are kind of an odd year. I think they had OBD2. Well, this one does. No, it doesn't. OBD1. They got the new style dash, new style door panels, new style seat, but they still got the TBIs in them. And they still got, they don't have the airbag over on that side, but they got them on the driver's side. Let's check under the hood here. Oh, that's nice. I've seen worse fixes. Oh, did they cut a big hole for the speaker? Yuck. This is the money shot, guys. Look at that. She's a Vortec. The LS version. It's supposed to be a 5.3. I don't know. Got Cenex oil. Should be good. This is where things get sketchy. Tarp strap. He never told me about that. I'm guessing that's holding the battery in. Ooh, that's just kind of dancing around. Air box. It's kind of dancing around. I was wondering what they did with the steam hose. Steam hose is this little guy over here. Tell me it's not capped off. He's got it tapped into the water pump, and then it goes into the throttle body. Oh, that's a different one. Or is that the right one? Is this drive-by-wire? It is drive-by-wire. Well, that's kind of cool. Figured it would be a cable. Oh, some wire nuts. Real nice. Oh, he just tied it into the water pump. Tied them together and then tied it to the water pump. Never seen them tapped into the throttle body like that before. Factory electrical connections been cut up a bit. Does have, those look like aftermarket manifolds that are heat tape wrapped. But they're manifolds and not headers, so that's good. I could see other wiring laying under there. It looks like a wiring nightmare. Got 7 heads on it. I don't know if that's good or not. Looks like they just modified a stock harness. They did hook up the cruise control though. No, this is drive-by cable. Is it not? Oh yeah, there's cable over here. So it's a, what, 02 and older? He says it's 5.3. Who knows? Yeah, you can see some add-on wiring and crimp-on ends done here. Some top post to side post conversionage. Computer just held in by hopes and dreams. Wonder if they'd even put an OBD2 connector in here if you had to diagnose. Oh, sure enough, right there with a check engine light. I mean, don't feed that into the cab or anything, so you can check it in there, or at least keep an eye on your check engine light. He says it starts like a champ. I'll be the judge of that. Let's check the dipstick, Jimmy.
Oh, think with your dipstick, Jimmy.
Well, it's nice and clean, and it's right in the operating range, so that's good. And they did the heat wrap on this manifold too. I think they just took the tin covers off, the factory ones, and then heat wrapped them instead of just leaving the tin covers. I don't know. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. He said the key does not come out. And that looks like a replacement ignition switch. Something's wrong with that. All right, here we go. Fuel gauge pegs to the moon. She does light right off. Good oil pressure. Ugh, glass packs. She's rich. I can smell it. Watch this. Definitely way too much fuel. Should have brought a code scanner with. That was dumb. Airbag lights on, park brake lights on. Brake lights on. I don't know if ABS or what. Looks like it's charging. Really good oil pressure. I don't know why the speedometer isn't working, because it's all the same transmission that was in here before, so that wiring should have all been left alone. Dash has got a crack. Mirrors all demirroring. Let's see what this thing drives like. I don't know. We need a project like this. Grill is busted to crap. Tags are good through dang near the end of the year though. All right guys, I was like dead set on buying this thing. He wants $4,000 for it. Let's take it or leave it. He's already, he's got it listed online for like $6,000. But that's what he paid. Oh, mirror's busted. Cup holder's busted. I see there's a random switch in the dash over here. So it's kind of a take it or leave it deal. There's no negotiating. And years ago, I was gonna swap the 235 out of White Lightning, put an LS in it. Obviously, there's a lot of variables, and LS swaps get, I mean, everything's going up, you know, but there's more engines out there and there's more options for aftermarket parts and stuff at the same time. When I did the math, in probably, I would say that was like 2017 or so, I figured it'd cost about $3,000 to do an LS swap, and that's if you had the engine for free. And I know you can go buy an LS for 500-ish bucks, depending on what you got. So you got 150 bucks to modify or get the VATs out of the computer. You're gonna have to do exhaust, minimal exhaust work or full exhaust, depending on what you're doing. But I mean, full exhaust can be $1,000 or more. So you got 1,150 there. That project, it had a 3-speed, so to get a 4L60 rebuilt, because I don't like dealing with used automatic transmissions, that's $1,000. So right there, you're at 2,150. You got fluids. You know, you can spend $200-300 there. Coolant ain't cheap. 150 bucks on a fuel pump. Gauges, you can spend 150 bucks or you can spend 1,500 bucks on gauges, depending on what you want, because none of your old stuff is gonna work, or you're gonna have to spend a ton of money to put a mechanical oil pressure gauge and a mechanical temp gauge, all that stuff. And then if you go to a 4L60, you gotta go to an electronic speedometer, radiator hoses, heater hoses, spark plugs, plug wires, all that stuff you gotta do. Engine mounts, you can spend, you can make them for free, but that's time is money, or you can buy like a Dirty Dingo or some other type of kit, and that can be, you know, I think there's some that sell for like 60 bucks, but some are 150 bucks or more. 3,000 bucks plus all the time to do it. He wants $4,000 for this thing, running, driving. It needs a lot of work. Puddin was talking in his video this week about, you know, his lowered dots and how he's fixing all his old screw ups. Well, that's kind of what's going on here too, is there's a lot of stuff that I don't know how it was done. And I mean, the wire nuts under there and the tarp strap and the air box just laying there, like stuff like that, it's gonna come back to bite you at some point. Plus, you know, there's overspray on everything. The door panels are missing, stuff like that. Rust in the cab corner, that ugly bumper, these ugly mirrors, ugly grill, new tires, that rub. So I don't know. I was like dead set on buying this thing, but after seeing it, and I mean, I saw pictures, because anybody who tells you they bought anything sight unseen in the 21st century can kiss me, you know where. It doesn't happen. Everybody's got a phone, which is basically a computer and a camera all in one. I can send pictures all over the world in a matter of seconds, so you don't buy nothing sight unseen. Let's drive this thing. I guess we could look on the marketplace, see if there's anything else we can buy. He said it was shifting hard into first and second, so I was like, well, it should have a hydraulic clutch. Is that? Oh, it's already pulling fierce to the right. Like, this thing wants to go right in the ditch. It isn't 4 high, so maybe that's part of it. No, it needs some front end work, alignment at a minimum. So that's another $100 just for an alignment. That's if they don't find tie rod ends or ball joints or control arm bushings or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, I did not expect a perfect pickup. He told me about the speedometer. Oh, you can't even hardly turn it all on those tires, Rob. Like I said, you can turn the torsion bars up, but as you turn the torsion bars up, they ride rougher. That MV3500 is growly. And he said that thing's been leaking, so I don't know, maybe that's where maybe somebody running low on oil. And the thing with these MV3500s, the 4500 is pretty much bulletproof. Third gear, what is it, the third gear lock ring, or is it the 5th gear lock? Anyway, there's like a lock nut on one of the gears that likes to come off and kind of screws them up, but there's ways to fix that, and there's parts out there you can fix them. These MV3500s, there's not a ton of parts out there. They're a real bear cat to work on. Most transmission shops want absolutely nothing to do with them. A, because parts are hard to get, B, because they're hard to work on, and C, they're just not worth it because they're so light duty. So that's the other thing, is you can't really thrash on this thing that much. You were to own it, not that I'm into thrashing on things. Okay, let's be honest, yeah, I'm hard on stuff. But that transmission is gonna be your Achilles heel. The nice part about a 5-speed is you might pull a little bit better mileage. I do enjoy driving a manual. But this thing idles down to almost nothing. See why it was in 4. These tires suck on ice. Also, I'm not a big wide tire guy. I like an oversized tire. Like, this should have 265s. I like a 285, but these like 33 1050s and 1250s and stuff like that just don't do it for me. Tack's working. Like I said, no speedo, no oil, or no fuel gauge. Wouldn't that be great to run out of fuel on a test drive? He's out of town. He's traveling for work too. I'm out here for work, so kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But yeah, so who am I gonna call when I run out of petrol? Jeez, these tires are pathetic. I see why I was in 4-wheel drive. You can't even get away from a stop sign. Who would want to live on a hill? I'm used to the flatlands. Brakes are typical squishy softness that is these OBS or GMT 400s. They just, I don't know why the brakes in these pickups are just squishy. I don't know if it's the booster, the diameter of the master cylinder, but they all just don't have a good firm feel to them. Like a firm pedal. I do have a NV3500 in Rex, my 66 Chevy 2-wheel drive. That's got a pretty healthy cammed up 350, nothing crazy. I'm really hard on that thing because that transmission has made noise ever since I did that 5-speed swap in that. And we haven't blown that one up yet. And I actually had a spare tranny that I was so confident in that transmission, or that I could find another one, that I traded it off. Because some guy wanted to trade an NV4500, but the only way he would trade was for a 3500. Had it online, and I'm like, well, I got a 3500 and you're dumb. That's like a big block for a small block trade. Like, hey, I got a big block, I want to trade, but only for a small block. I'm like, all right. Granted, I don't know the history on, I mean, he gave me some history on this 4500, but it could be garbage. Look at the swap meet NV3500 that I traded him. Big Boy Burger, you guys got one of those where you're at? I think that's the only one in the state. It's the only one that I know of, honestly. I think they're a chain though. Big old fiberglass kid with the cowlick haircut up front and on their sign and everything. And the tires hum like typical big mud slut tires. I don't know. I don't really need this thing. That's the other thing, is I was kind of looking for one of these because I just fell in love with that 92 regular cab short bed. Blackie or whatever we're calling it. And because that thing's so dry and it's 2-wheel drive, once they started salting the roads and got slick, I had to park it because I don't want it. A, getting salty, and B, 2-wheel drive just sucks in the winter. So I just like having fuel injection and cruise control and all that stuff that you get with these OBSs, or can get with these OBSs. And yeah, so I was kind of looking for one, and then that stupid Expedition came up. And these things are getting valuable. Like, I kind of wanted an SUV just so Duff can ride in the back and he's out of the elements. I can keep, you know, tools in there, groceries, whatever, what have you. And that thing came up at work. $300. I wasn't really looking for a Ford. Thing's good. Gets terrible fuel mileage, but so do these TBI engines. And yeah, I was looking at, you know, pickups like this or Suburbans, and like $1,500 gets you a project. $2,000 gets you something a little bit better. But I mean, decent ones are going for $3 to $4 grand, and they all got rust as bad or worse than this one. I mean, we don't have anything up here as dry as that little black regular cab short box that I got. So I mean, it's just what you got to deal with unless you go south, or unless you find a super clean one, or somebody's fixed it up. The problem with having a fixed up one, you're like, oh, how much mud is in it, you know? Or at least this thing, it's been fixed up, but it's pretty obvious to see what they've been doing. We're on a lunch break here, so I don't know if we got enough time to get back. Go out on the highway before we got to get back to work. So yeah, I knew the wiring was going to be an issue based on what he said about the speedometer and the fuel gauge, and then just from the little bit of FaceTiming we did underneath the hood, I was like, computer laying there. Then I could tell that it was a factory harness that had been modified. These tires are absolutely worthless as tits on a board. Just slide sideways on command, and it's not from all the power of the 5.3. The 5.3 does run surprisingly well. That's the other thing, is I think I'm gonna have to take the 2 front wheels off. I brought wheels with, just to get this on my trailer because they're so wide to fit between the fenders. And you might say, Mortske, well, why don't you just throw the old tow pig on the trailer and pull it home with this? That's what I thought about, but with the transmission leaking, and as growly as I can hear that it is now, and then the way these tires are, I ain't doing it, right? I'm not risking A, wrecking the transmission, B, pulling a trailer that, with these tires, just terrible. I don't see how anybody could drive this thing. God, I love how he said, oh, they're like new. We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to let you know that we got some bad audio coming up here shortly. Struggle with us through it. you know, sorry, apologize ahead of time. Just so you know, the camera was screwing up as usual. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Now back to your regular scheduled programming. All right, quick swap out of the batteries. GoPro's back live, dancing around. And the best part about doing a swap, you can go read all you want on the internet. Talk to somebody who's done it. And you know what? There's nothing I hate worse than people asking me for help and you give them some assistance and then they don't do it. Or they're like, well, I did what I read on the internet. It's like, well, you don't know what Joe Sixpack does on the internet. He's probably sitting in his mom's basement. He's probably never opened the hood on his Toyota Corolla, much less does he know anything about an OBS LS swap. I mean, there's some good information on the internet, but like Abe Lincoln says, you can't believe everything you read on the internet, so take it with a grain of salt. All right, we're gonna park this thing and think about it for the afternoon. I mean, we're gonna go back to work and not think about this thing at all. Focus on work. All right, it's not as good as I thought it would be. Story of my life. You ever notice that? Like, if you ever went and looked at something and to buy it, and you're like, man, that thing's better than I expected. Well, it never happens that way. It's always worse. Oh yeah, we gotta fix the ignition switch too. So much garbage. I did hit that switch. I don't know what it does, but we turned it back off. Yeah, it's supposed to have a cup holder that swings out. It ain't there. Back to the real job. If you still got this thing, I'll put the contact information below and you guys can come to the center of North Dakota and buy this thing if you want it. If I haven't bought it yet. Oh, what is this? The key. What are you talking about? The key doesn't come out. Dummy. I should take that and steal it. But it doesn't feel right. It ain't going all the way in. You just gotta turn it all the way. Oh, it is janked up good. At least you got a mirror in here for cutting your Hoover schneef on.
Could hoover some schneef.
I could hoover a bit of schneef.
You ever hoovered back seat schneef?
I've hoovered schneef off the headrest of a Pontiac Tracer traveling to Sarsfest.
So here I am back 4 months later. We did not buy that pickup, just needed too much work. And as you know, we were trying to buy Mortske worldwide at that time. So we were trying to kind of save our money and not buy more dumb stuff. Plus we just bought the 97 Expedition tow peg, 273,000 and change. That thing pulls like a champ. We went through a pretty bad storm that day, so I'm glad we didn't buy that pickup because we'd have ended up in the ditch with the trailer for sure. But yeah, he did end up selling it, so don't ask if it's for sale. It's long gone. If that thing came up for sale right now, I'd think about buying it, maybe. It needed a lot of work and we don't really need it. That was a pretty good deal at $4 grand. Thanks very much for watching. Let us know what you want to see on the second channel here. You want to see the Duff Dog and I do some bird hunting. Want to see us do some more test drives, swap meets, junkyard walk-arounds, fix air conditioning, fix tires, differential overhauls, how to install a limited slip, mowing the grass, tilling the trees, dragging the lawn, washing dishes. What do you want to see? That's what the second channel here is for. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, it doesn't matter how you get it done, as long as you're having fun. Hope you guys have fun on the second channel here. Duff, are you having fun swimming in yucky, nasty swamp water? Of course you are. That's what you live for. Let's get back to work.